Hello students, so next we'll move to the another phylum, that is Echinodermata. Okay. So Echinodermata, they are commonly known as spiny skin animals and they are exclusively marine in habitat. Okay. So echinoderms generally they are characterized by the spines. Echino means spines. Okay. Spiny skinned animals, commonly they are known as spiny skinned animals and they are exclusive marine habitat. Generally, this phylum it is represented by the members like starfish, sea urchin, beetle stars, sea cucumber, and the sea lilies. So, among this, people are very much familiar with the starfishes. Fine. So, when you come to the characteristic features, the first character is the grade of organization. So, again here, echinoderms they exhibit organ system grade of body organization. So again here you can see that they have got well developed definite body organs. Okay, next comes the symmetry. So again here symmetry here you can see that they have got the combination of both radial symmetry as well as the bilateral symmetry. In case of adult echinoderms, generally they have got combination of both bilateral and the radial symmetry. Fine. So here the common such symmetry it is known as biradial symmetry. It's known as biradial symmetry. So combination of both the bilateral and the radial symmetry in case of adult echinoderms. Right. Again here you can see that the body can be divided into identical halves. The body is divided into identical halves along the 5 planes. So generally here echinoderms they are commonly known as pentamerous structure animals because of presence of 5 radiating arms. So again here all and it can be identically divided. The body can be divided identical halves along the 5 planes, hence they are also known as pentaradial symmetry or pentamerous radial symmetry. Okay, pentamerous it is so commonly known as presence of 5 radiating arms. Penta means 5. Then here you can see that echinoderms generally the body they are covered by the spines. The skin is generally made up of spines, tubercles and the pincers. Fine. So these are some of the characteristic features they have got compared to all other phylums. Here the characteristic features you can see that they are a bit different. Okay, depending upon their adaptation. Fine. So once again we'll have glance. Echinoderms they exhibit organ system grade of body organization. Then symmetry here they have got in case of adult they exhibit bilateral symmetry, bilateral and the radial symmetry. So it is commonly known as biradial symmetry. So again here the presence of pentamerous structure generally the body can be divided into identical halves which is known as pentaradial symmetry or pentamerous radial symmetry. Again here the body skin it is generally made up they have spines, tubercles and the pincers. So next we move on to the another character that is the body wall. So again now echinoderms they are triploblastic animals. So triploblastic you already know that they are made up of 3 germ layers. Outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner endoderm. Outer layer is ectoderm, middle layer mesoderm, inner endoderm. Okay. So echinoderms they are triploblastic animals with the 3 germ layers. Next comes the body cavity. So again here they are coelomate animals. Coelomate means you already know that the 2 coelom is present between the body wall and the alimentary canal. Okay. Next comes the endoskeleton. So again here in case of echinoderms the skeletal system is internal and it consists of movable or fixed calcareous plates. So generally here it is an important characteristic feature where it is made up of movable or the fixed calcareous plates or it is commonly known as sickles which occurs in the definite pattern and embedded within the body wall. Okay, the presence of that is the Presence of calcareous plates is a characteristic features in case of the endoskeleton of the echinoderms. Fine. Next, another important feature of echinoderm is the presence of water-vascular system, or it is also known as the umbilical system. So again here, it generally includes the ring canals in the central part of the body. Okay. So what happens here means generally it arises from the radial canal which is running at the center of the each arm. So you can see here case of starfish, as it is made up of 5 radiating arms. So here it is made up of central canal, and from the central canal the water has to be regulated in the all 5 radiating arms from the central canal. Okay. Then another is that from the each radial canal there arises the rows of tube feeds. Generally these tube feeds, they have got a small tiny tube feeds which generally help for the locomotion. These are the tube feeds which arises from the radial canals. Okay. Then another important is that this canals generally it opens out by an opening which is known as madrepore. So again now at the central they have got a small opening which is known as madrepore. Through this madrepore only the water will enter inside, and it is regulated in all the 5 radiating arms. Okay, which is commonly known as water vascular system. So again here this water vascular system it helps for locomotion, food capturing and the transport of food, and it also helps for the respiration. Fine. So it's one of the important characteristic feature of the echinoderms, that is the presence of water vascular system or the umbilical system. Okay. So again now body wall, in case of echinoderms they are diploblastic animals with the 3 germ layers, and they are coelomate animals, that is they are made up of true coelom, or the body cavity is present between the body wall and the alimentary canal. Then when it comes to the endoskeleton, the skeleton is internal, and it is consists of movable or the fixed calcareous plates, or it is also known as the ossicles, which occurs in the definite pattern embedded within the body wall. Okay. And another character is the autovascular system. So again now autovascular or the umbilical system, it includes ring canals in the central part of the body which arises from the 5 radial and are running at the center of the each arms. Then from the radial canal arises the 2 rows of tube feeds. Then another important point is that the canal opens out by the opening which is known as the madrepore. Okay, then what is the function of autovascular system? So generally here autovascular system, it helps for the locomotion, transport of food and the respiration. Okay, so next we will move on to the remaining characters. So next is the digestive system. So again here in echinoderms, the digestive system it is complete and simple type. Whereas in some cases it is incomplete. And when it comes to the respiratory system, so again here you can see that different animals, they have got different types of respiratory organs. Some of the examples I have mentioned here. One is dermal brachia, which is as in case of starfish. And another is the peristomial gills in case of the sea urchins, and the genital bursae in case of brittle stars, and cloacal respiratory tree is seen in case of the sea cucumber. Fine. So different animals they have got the different types of the respiratory organs. And next comes the circulatory system. So again in case of echinoderms, the circulatory system it is not well developed, and it is open type which is commonly known as the human system. Okay. And nervous system, again here the nervous system it is primitive and it is not well developed. So in general it is made up of circumoral nerve ring with radial nerve cord. Okay, it is made up of circumoral nerve ring with radial nerve cord, and you will not find any there is no development of the brain, and the sense organs are poorly developed here. Okay. Then when it comes to the excretory system, so again here we'll not find any proper excretory organs in case of echinoderms, but the nitrogenous waste it diffuses out through the papilla. Okay, generally takes place to body surface or through papilla. Right? That is digestive system. Digestive system, it is complete and simple. In some cases, it is incomplete. And the respiratory organs, so it has got different types of respiratory organs which are present in the different animals like starfish, sea urchin, brittle star, and the sea cucumber. They have got different types like dermal, brachiae, peristomal gills, and the cloacal respiratory trees. Okay, so different respiratory organs are present in the different animals. Then circulatory system, you often the circulatory system is not developed, it is reduced and it is the open type which is commonly known as the inval system. And the nervous system, it is primitive, it includes the circumoral nerve rings with the radial nerve cord, and you will find the development of the brain and the sense organs are poorly developed. Okay, and next comes the excretory system. So again here the excretory organs, you will not find any development of the there is no excretory organs, but the nitrogenous waste it is generally eliminated out or diffuses out through the papilla. Okay. Okay. So next we'll see the reproduction. So generally in case of echinoderms, the sexes are separate and the fertilization is external. And here you can see that they have got different larval forms. So generally the development is indirect and it takes place through larval form. Again different animals they have got different larval forms. Like for example starfish, in case of starfish they have got larva is bipinnaria. Okay, bipinnaria is in case of starfish, Ophicletus in case of brittle star, and Echinoplutus in case of sea urchin, and Auricularia in sea cucumbers. Okay, that means different animals they have got different larval forms. And another important characteristic feature of echinoderm is the autotomy, means self-cutting. So generally here it is one of the important characteristic feature. That is in case of echinoderm is autotomy, self-cutting, just to escape from the enemies or the predators. Just they will cut the body part. Okay, so you heard regeneration. Regeneration is the regaining of the lost part, but autotomy means self-cutting, just to escape from the enemies or the predators. Okay, so these are the general characteristic features of the echinoderms. So next comes the classification. So in case of echinoderms, I got 5 classes, and just you have to remember the name and this example. Okay. So first comes the Asteroidea, Ophiroidea, Echinoidea, Holothuroidea, and Crinoidea. Okay. Examples for Asteroidea is starfish like Astracia, and for Ophiroidea, it is the example is a brittle star, and Echinoidea example is sea urchins. And Holothuroidea example is sea cucumber, and Crinoidea example is sea lilies. Okay, so these are the classification of the echinoderms. So that's about the echinoderm. Okay, so just we'll have a glance from all the phylums. Okay, so far we have completed with all the different phylums of non-chordates. Okay. So from next class onwards, we will begin with the chordata characteristic features and the different classes in the chordates. Okay. So before that, just we'll have a glance. So for what all phylums, different phylums we have studied in the non-chordates with examples. So for in non-chordates, commonly known as invertebrates, we have studied 9 different phylums. So first comes the Porifera. So Porifera, you already know that it is commonly known as sponges. From all these different phylums, just you keep in mind what are the different special characters, you just keep in mind, and one example is composite. Okay. So example is the Cycon. Porifera, they are commonly known as sponges. Okay, and here in case of porifera, you already know that the presence of ostia and the osculum and the water canal system is a important characteristic feature. Okay, the water will enter inside through the minute pore which is known as ostia, and it comes out by the opening which is known as the osculum. And the function of water canal system, like in detail you have already studied. But let's see about the porifera. Pori means pores, fera means bearing. They are commonly known as pore bearing animals, or in simple we can call it as a sponges, and the example is the cycon. And second is the coelenterata. Fine, in case of coelenterata, or it is commonly known as the Wideria, the presence of nematoblast or the stinging cells is the characteristic feature of the coelenterata. So again here you can see that the important characteristic feature here is the alteration of the generation, that is the presence of polyp and the medusa, which gives rise both sexual as well as the asexual reproduction. And the common example is the Aurelia, that is the jellyfish. Fine. And the third phylum is the Ctenophora. So again, Ctenophora, which is commonly known as light emitting animals, that is pleurobrachia. Right? Example is the pleurobrachia. Bioluminescence examples they are known commonly, which is known to emit the light, and generally they have got only few species which are present in this phylum, which is the smallest phylum we can say. Example is the pleurobrachia. So Ctenophora, it is known as bioluminescence animals, or it is known to emit the light. Okay, example pleurobrachia. And the fourth phylum is the Platyhelminthes. So you already know that Platyhelminthes commonly they are known as the flat worms. Platy means flat, helminthes means worms. So here they have got characteristic features like they are the parasitic form and some are terrestrial form. The example to keep in mind is the planaria and the tape form. The another important of this Platyhelminthes is the power of regeneration. Right? They have got the capacity of regaining of the lost part of the body. Next comes the Ascarianthes. Ascarianthes they are commonly known as the roundworms. Even they are also the parasites. Examples are Ascaris, which is commonly known as the roundworms. Next is the Annelida. That is the sixth phylum. It is the Annelida. So again, Annelida is commonly known as segmented animals, or metamerically segmented animals they are known. And the most common example is the earthworm. Fine, now you already know what are the characteristic features in detail and its classification, everything we have studied. Fine, that's the Annelida. Next comes the phylum Arthropoda. So here briefly we have studied regarding the Arthropoda because it is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. Right, among the invertebrates it is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom because almost all the 80% of known insects which comes under this phylum only. Again in that harmful insects, useful insects we already studied in detail. Right. Simple examples, you can give any examples, but for meanwhile I have taken two examples. One is useful and another one is harmful. Like for example, honeybee, silkworm, cockroaches, mosquitoes. You can give any example for the arthropoda. So arthro means joint, poda means legs. So generally they are known as jointed leg animals, and it's the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. Next to the arthropoda is the mollusca. So again here mollusca, it is the second largest phylum. Next to the arthropoda is the mollusca. So again here mollusca, they are commonly known as soft body animals. Okay. So the presence of calcareous shell is an important characteristic feature of the mollusca. Simple example is the snail. People are very much familiar with the example. Snail is a common example for the mollusca, right? The last comes the Echinodermata. Echinodermata, they are commonly known as spiny skin animals. The presence of spines and the tube feet and the water-vascular system or the umbilical system is the important characteristic feature of the echinoderm. So we have already studied different examples like starfish, brittle stars, sea urchins, etc. So another important characteristic feature of echinoderm is the power of that is not autotomy, that is self-cutting to escape from the predators. This is the characteristic feature of the echinodermata, right? So porifera, coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Ascarianthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, and the Echinoderm. So these are the different phylums which we have studied in the non-chordate. So next class we'll move on to the chordata, its characteristic features, and what are the different classes which comes under the chordata.